Good morning, 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 everybody. Today is Saturday, December 30th. We are 2 days before the new year. I had the honor of going on Reverend Tim Christopher's uh, show last night on Twitter, and I wanted to restream it because there were some important things that were said last night, and I think they need to be listened to. They need to be dialogue. It needs to be discussed because there were some great things that were said last night. And I think people really need to pay attention. Um, so for the next hour, a little bit over an hour, you will be listening to a conversation between me and Rev Tim Christopher. So let's play it.
What's happening, people? Going on? Here tonight. I get this thing up and going. I'm like, wow, that's the first time that I've had to actually log into this thing in a long time here. As you can see, I got my boy Chaz here with us on tonight. Here to hang out, talk a little bit, chop it up, rip it apart, the whole nine. But again, how we doing, people? How we doing? How we doing? Again, for those who don't know, who probably been the first time that they ever been on here with us, I'm gonna let him introduce himself. So I'm gonna shut my mouth, let him go for it.
Well, if people don't know me, my name is Chaz Neal. I don't know what to call myself. Somebody that's out here trying to make change and do better for our community. Um, and not everybody likes that. I've seen a lot of BS in my almost 4 years of doing this. Um, and I met some great people, and one of them great people is Reverend Tim Christopher. And I love the fact that we have great conversations, and, we might not always agree, but we agree on our community. And that's what matters the most. And I think that's what people fail to realize in all of this is that we can have disagreements, but if our vision and the whole reason of why we're doing this is our community, we can put the pettiness aside and focus on what the main objective is. And that's what I love about Reverend Tim Christopher, because he loves to, he'll do the pettiness, but wants to just deal with our community. And that's what I love about him. So
Well, in that whole situation, we are trying to deal with making a difference.
right,
In where we're trying to go, and in the people that we um, actually have to deal with on a everyday basis. That's my
right,
main goal. Like I said, I can work with anybody. I don't care. I
right,
don't care who you are. As long as we got the same thing, we're trying to work on the same thing. We may try to get there totally different. I get that
right,
part, but
right.
I'm about trying to get there, man. You know that.
Oh, and that's what the main goal should be, and I get it that everybody, our ideas or our what we envision might not be all the same, but it's like if it's about the community, we should be able to put our ideologies aside and work for the greater good, because at the end of the day, that's what we're out here for, is to better our community and not to um, undercut and um, demonize each other, because that's what I see even with this week, me and Sir Major. You know, my thing is we have so many people out here for different reasons, and some have their own agendas. Some are for the community, and some have personal agendas. Uh, and I think people get that ego of they're better than everybody else. And like, I don't care about a Twitter following. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't care about a Facebook following, YouTube, none of that. What I care about is legislation that's gonna change what's going out here in these streets, what's going out here in this community. I don't care about having millions of followers because I want to make sure the things that I'm doing is felt by millions of people. I could, you know what I'm saying? So I could care less about the following. And I think that's where we need to go back into history and we need to listen to Malcolm. We need to listen to the Martins. We need to listen to the Marcus Garveys. We need to listen to the Frederick Douglasses. Because if we don't understand the past, we definitely are not going to be able to move forward in the future. And that's where I see we're not moving anywhere because we don't understand our past. We don't understand.
I don't talk about us enough because we've been told to shut up. About the
Right.
past. I don't think we talk about our past. I mean, for example, you look at my my Twitter page. I mean, anytime I bring up anything that has to do with equality for us, we go silent, right?
Right.
The perfect example, you know, being fair, equal justice, right? First thing people come on my Twitter page and do is they go, well, what about this? Or what about, they try to throw you off what you're saying. This is what I know. Hold on, you and I, because this is going to run right about. This is right into it. How? So I asked you about Nikki Haley. What did you think about that situation? So I'm going to ask you again. What do you think? What did you think about Nikki Haley's situation?
You know, she's right and she's wrong. I will say this because they just want us to think that the Civil War was about slavery when it was a multifaceted issue. And I don't want to. I will say that I'm not voting for her regardless, whatever. But I don't know if she really believes that, and that's the part for me because I know she did something else today. I haven't seen the full video yet. That to me is
She
where
tried to
right, and for me, I don't believe that she should. If this is my thing of it is if you're coming out and you're saying something, stand on it, but come behind it why you said it. Because if that's what you believe, then come behind it with evidence. Come behind it with receipt. And we're never gonna learn if we don't educate each other, if we don't educate ourselves. Because the whole history, you make a very good point of it. They don't want equal justice. And to be honest, what does justice look like? Because I guarantee you it looks different to everybody. Accountability looks different to everybody.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because
no, I totally understand what you're saying.
you know
the reason I know and what I put out there was this. Nikki Haley did not say anything different than the people down south says and believe.
right.
Nikki Haley probably have done some type of research on slavery, but at the end of the day, for a week, we've been doing that now for 6 years. We go down there every week for a week. I started going down there because I actually traced my lineage to Charleston, South Carolina. My people came in off the boat in Charleston, South Carolina. They were sold right there on those grounds in that marketplace. And my grandfather's people walked from Charleston, South Carolina to a plantation in Tennessee. So we started going down there. So this is how I know what Nikki Haley said she believes. If you go down to Charleston, South Carolina, you start talking to white people, they won't talk to you about slavery. They won't talk to you about the past. This is how you have to do it. When we go to the marketplaces, they got, if you ever go to, you got to go to South Carolina one time. I'm serious, man. You got to go down there where the boats came in, because they got these buildings. They're about 50 feet long. And there's like 4 of them going there where they sold the slaves. Now what they have in there is you can go in there and you sell stuff. They got stuff that people make and all. It's cool as all get up, right? So when the first time I went down there, I tried to talk about slavery and things. Nobody said anything. Literally, it was like, you can talk to the black people, because we went to John's Island, where the Gullah people are at. And you can go down and you can talk to them. They'll talk to you about the history. They'll talk to you about anything. White people in South Carolina will not talk to you about slavery. Watch this. So what you have to do is you have to kind of crank them up, right? You go in and you look at their products that they're selling, and then you just start a conversation with them, and then you sneak something in there, and then they don't even realize it. They'll answer it, and you go, "Oh, okay." States' rights. That is what they will tell you down in South Carolina, in North Carolina, in Virginia, in Georgia. States' rights. That's what they'll tell you. But then you ask that question. But what was the state rights that they were fighting for? Slaves. That's what the state rights. Now, I understand what you're saying when you said there was other things along with it. It was. Those rich people down there in the southern states wanted to keep their money.
Right. And that's what it was about. It was about money. You know what I'm saying?
But in order for them to keep their money, they're slaves. Man, I've spent 7 years looking for my people, looking for my ancestors, trying to find out where they came in. I'm not like white people. They get to go, oh yeah, I'm from Germany, I'm from here. Closest I get is South Carolina. So to me, I'm more American than anybody.
Right. You know, and it's crazy that you talk about, you wanted to find out, about your past, because on Christmas I started asking my dad some questions that led me to St. Martin, with my uncle Willie Francis, who was executed once, but twice, and is innocent, wrongfully convicted, and and about my side, because my aunt really helped me with that, and like, all I can find of where my ancestors came in for my grandpa's side is there's no name. There's a number though. There's no names. There's a number, just like our Social Security, just like my Minnesota Department of Corrections number, because you're not known by a name in there. You're known by a number. So it really, to me, am enamored with history and past, because I believe that's where we got today. That's how we got here today. And my daughter recently did that 23 DNA ancestry. There was Nigerian, there's Kenyan, uh, um, there's something that I never even heard of, Mesoamerican. I had to look that up. Yeah, that's Mesoamerican is So basically, like down south, the Mexico, South America, like looking at that, even on her white side, we're mutts. Like when we really, really dig deep, can't you know what's crazy to me is I love for somebody to come out here and say who is that says they're American, right? A black American, and you don't have at least 3 different African tribes or countries in you. So for us to sit there and say that we're or even Native American, it might be just a drop, but I guarantee it, you got some kind of white Native American down the line somewhere.
These
That,
days,
right.
these days. But that's pretty much my thing on Nikki Haley. And then I had people start saying, "Oh, she took down the flag." No, Nikki Haley didn't take the flag down when she became governor. Nikki Haley fought that flag coming down like the Southerners that was down there. She knows she did. It took 9 black people being murdered for her to take that racist flag down. 9. And even then she tried to find a way to keep that flag up. So when Nikki Haley only said what they say down south. Down south, they will not admit that they wanted to keep their money and keep making money. In order for them to make money and keep making money, they needed black people to do it.
Right.
So
right.
we can mince the words and say, well, it was an economic this and it was this and it was it. Yeah, it was economics to keep money in their pockets.
Well, and the crazy thing of it is, when people talk about reparations was paid out to people, to slave owners, and it was an act. And that's what's crazy to me is, when I do hear people talk about, because I do see a lot of people talking about reparations in 2023 going into 2024, but I see them going at it from a wrong direction, right? Because if we're going to talk about the wrongs being done, especially when it comes to slavery, we got to go back to that time, and we got to show of why we need reparations. Because first of all, y'all took the land from the natives, but y'all give land back periodically. But they don't do nothing for blacks that we built America. The White House is only there because of blacks. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel we have to, right now, the way that we go at reparations, I don't never see them. See, if we go historical context, I really do see it, because migrants come in 2023 better than slaves came off of the Emancipation Proclamation.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why every time I see liberal white Democrat
Right.
use the people of color on them, I
Right.
don't, because I know what they're talking about. They're not talking about African Americans, descendant
Nope.
of slaves. They're not talking
Nope.
about Freemasons. They're not talking about us. They're talking about them people that they bringing over here and dropping in to the poorest of poor neighborhoods and draining the resources out of those neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Now, um, I'm not on marketing out there. I'm on
Right.
markets because I need context to what he's saying. Because if I'm
Right.
going to go after this, and I need to make sure markets can back me up. It's not a point that I thought I'm sitting here saying John Justice is wrong, but John
Right.
Justice needs to bring context to exactly the thing that I'm going after. I'm not trying to chase nobody down, but if I get out here and I start saying this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, you know me, I've got to come with receipts, because I know
Right.
how some people on this app act, and I know what off the bus, not a city bus with
Right.
or that short bus with Target bags in their hands with Walmart bags in their hands. I need to see them get off the bus with the backpacks on. I saw them down there on Boone. I left the bus station and went down there, brother.
Right.
I went down there and I sat and I watched them walk. Yeah, they was walking around exactly what he said. But I did not see anybody get off a bus with a backpack. I didn't see anybody come lugging a backpack down the road. When they got off that little short bus, they had Cub bags in their hands going to that
Right.
hotel. I know exactly which hotel he's talking about. So
Right.
I need to hand them backpacks out, because once that happens, I'm going to be a spitfire like you would not believe. Because Lord knows I'm one of the people who sit here and say, I'm not doing this with these people, man.
Right.
You're
Right.
not pushing me aside for them that you let in here and you giving money, you paying for hotel rooms. No, man. So
Right. And they're about to, on January 4th, they're gonna evict Camp Niaski. I know I'm saying the name wrong, but the Native American healing camp, they're evicting January 4th.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about right there. They can come over here and get treated like royal kings, but we got people down there. There are really some people in that camp that really wants help. But
Right.
here's the deal, and here's what people don't understand out there in our la la land. Here's what people don't understand, like and you can vouch for what I say here. So let's say I'm a druggie, right?
Yep.
And I ask the system for help. Months later, they'll come back and go, I can help you. Dude, I needed help when I asked you for help that day. On Saturday, I asked you for help. I don't need you for you to come back to me 8 months Saturday later to get me help, because by then I could be dead. And
Right.
that's what people don't understand about these encampments, man. That's what, because they don't go out there and talk to these people. They don't go out there and see what the system screws them also. But nobody ever goes and talks to these people to understand what this system, man.
Right. Well, and it's crazy because I and this isn't, I don't want to shade anybody or anything like that, but I honestly feel like some of our patients, like the entertainers, celebrities, and they are legislative officials. You you know what I'm saying? Because it's crazy to me how we have a legislative session that gavel's gonna pop February 12th at noon, 45 days from today. I see, you know what I see our reps talking about? Reps who can rap. I don't care that you can rap, lady. I don't care that you can rap. I didn't elect you to become a rapper. Your constituents didn't elect you to become a rapper. You was already that, but now you're gonna boost your rap career. Come on, man. Like, I don't was calling out back in the 60s.
Yeah, yeah.
We gotta stop
No, go ahead.
falling for the celebrity. We gotta stop falling for the celebrities, because is that what we want? Is celebrity heroes, or do we want community heroes?
Yeah, I'm looking for a celebrity to do anything, because these
Right.
days the celebrities really don't do anything at all.
No.
Well, Mike Epps bought his whole block. You see that?
Right. Yeah,
He
in
bought the whole
Minneapolis.
block,
Yes.
brother. I was like, oh my God, this dude is different.
Yep.
Eddie Murphy could have bought a block,
Right.
right?
Oh, I
Steve
think
Harvey
about
could have bought a block.
Minnesotans. Devin George.
Devin George could have bought a block, but they didn't. So that's
No.
why I don't look. I'm like you. I don't look for them to speak for. But those
No.
are the people that they go out and get because they're big influences and things of that
Right.
sort. It's just like that Taylor Swift thing. Everybody's getting mad at Taylor. Leave that girl alone. Let her do whatever
Right.
she wanted to do. Who cares? I could care less. I don't pay attention to that. I'm there to watch football. I don't care how many. Sure, fine, okay,
Right.
I'm cool. She's of the people, and she
No.
shouldn't be.
No.
You know, at the end of the day. But yeah, as far as the Nikki Haley thing goes, I just can't see. I can't get mad at her because I know
Right.
for a fact that that's how she was raised, and that's what they taught her. Period.
You
Point
know,
blank.
even with the Confederate flag, though, of even how I've talked to people that are from down south, and you know, I walked into some people's garage, and that's the first thing I see, and I'm like, well, oh, okay, what the fuck am I walking into? But when they say, that's why I don't even get mad about it anymore, because when they say that for them it's today's about it being Southern pride, it has nothing to do. I get mad at the end of the day because if they're, I'm sitting in somebody's garage having a beer and they got a Confederate flag up. Literally, if he wanted to hang me or if he hated me, I would not be in this man's garage having a beer. You know what I'm saying? So I think for me is we're so undereducated and we're so gaslit so quickly. You know what I'm saying? Because we get into emotions instead of sitting there thinking about it. We just react. And
Well, I was up in probably the whitest part of Minnesota, Sartell. I went there
okay,
to because they had this in this I forgot his name. His name was Scott. I know his name was last name Scott, but he's part of the Republican Party. Helped to get out the vote thing, and he came up there. Uh, we were up there, and like I said, two Confederate flags in this bar.
oh,
It didn't
damn.
bother me because
Right,
my mind was so set on meeting this guy and showing him how how the Republican Party right there. I really didn't see it until Walter Hudson showed it to me.
mm,
That's when I saw it. That's when I seriously, man, I was so focused, didn't see it. The only reason I saw it because Walter had a picture of it. I looked at him and said, "Dude, I'm South. I'm from
right,
don't like Julius said here. He said the other thing is that she just doesn't want to upset the mega base, and that
oh,
is where I was gonna go next. The
right,
reason the Republican Party here in Minnesota cannot make traction is because of their base. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. When Eric Lassaro put out that lame tweet of their welfare checks,
right,
that's the point I was making. And if you notice, everybody who came after me to protect what he said never said anything about the racist dog whistle that Eric Lassaro put out there. Never said anything.
right,
Not only that, I brought receipts to show them that Eric was not talking about Palestine because 2007, Kurt helped bill to punish black people from protesting after Fernando Castillo was murdered. So I ain't seen no white person get on my damn Derek Lassaro out for putting out that racist tweet. Not one. This is what
right.
I'm talking about. But if I put something out there, I got a bunch of them coming after me going, oh my God, why is it always about black? It's about
Right,
black because it's what they do. It's
right.
what
And
they
who's
do.
out here fighting? Who's out here protesting the most for their rights
Black people.
to be seen as equals?
Exactly. And the Republicans want to put down a bill that's going to put us in jail. So we can't ask for being fair. And here's the thing about it that gets me about Eric Lucero. He's a minority.
Right. He's a POC.
Think about it. Some of his people were out protesting with us during when what's the kid that got shot when the police kicked the door in and shot him? Locke.
Amir.
When Amir Locke was shot, Puerto Ricans was right out there. Mexican people was right out there with us.
Right.
He's one of us. Yeah, this is how crazy it is that Eric Lucero say one thing about police brutality. He can't.
Walter Hudson.
Or Walter, they can't. Because the minute they do, the base will drop them like a hot potato.
Like right.
That's not what they're there for. They're there to entertain their base and to say some stupid crap to
right.
Exactly what I said a couple weeks ago about that porn site. And everybody got mad at me. This is what I'm talking about. Like I said, I bring receipts, man. I don't just throw stuff out here just to do it. I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. So this is the things that I'm talking when I sit there and I say, we ask for fairness. And this is what we did. And the Republicans who do this. Now, I can understand Kurt Dow. I can understand him doing it. He's just that type of person. It's in his blood.
Right.
But Eric Lucero, it's not in Eric's blood.
Well,
it's
wasn't
not
it
in
Limmer and
blood?
Wasn't it Gazoka and Limmer in 2021 that did a bill for the same thing?
Limmer is no different than Richard Nixon. Limmer is a Nixon.
Right.
It's all about black people. Lock them up. That's what Limmer is. And then when the Republicans, when their base do talk about why things happen in Minneapolis and all of this here type of stuff, well, what is the Republicans doing? They're being ignorant. They're being senile, sick is what they're doing. So it is what it is, man.
Right.
It is what it is. And we're not, and this is what I know. We're not going to get anywhere with that group.
We're not. You know what's crazy is I've literally, I don't think a lot of people realize that, and they need to, because especially if you're black, I'm going to tell you right now, as somebody that has been willing to work with groups, especially see the Council of Minnesotans of African Heritage, who have been
you stumped the Republicans the last cycle also.
Yeah. They brought Corey Brooks in here from Chicago. That's the Corey. So yeah, they were and Burke full-fledged. Only thing they didn't do was they didn't come to the black community. I will say this: they tried, and I will say this because trying is lying. They knew we weren't going to be able to get no space over north to be able to have people come in there and be able to meet them. I know that Shiloh did that one with Cece and Ryan.
I was about to say that. They were invited to other. They were invited to that, right?
Oh, well, I know that they were invited.
You and I met what's Jim Schultz. Come to my church.
Yeah, he was there.
Were you there?
Yeah, I was there.
Did I tell him to come into the black community.
Yes, you did.
And he never did. So
No.
this is what I'm talking about. I bring receipts, brother. So if the Republican Party here with that crap, right? So Julian said, he said, Rev, I don't understand how you stick with Republicans when you are awake to the truth about them. Republicans, here's what I want you to understand. I don't believe in a one-party system. What the Democrats got right now in Minnesota, I don't believe in that. I think what the Democrats is doing and what they're going to do here in Minnesota, I just can't get with that. So I've got to teach some of these Republicans to get in the game. So when they're doing policy, the whole thing about government supposed to be, if we look at it in a God sense, that we get along together and they make laws that are fair to everybody. And the only way we can make laws fair to everybody, if the Republicans and the Democrats get in a room and they talk it out and they make my life better and your life better. My life is not going to be better because I got a bunch of white liberals up there making policy that really don't do nothing for me, brother. That's what I'm saying. With me, it's not about a party. That's not what I'm about. And that's what blows people's mind. Well, how is he talking to the Republicans over here? And how is he talking to the Democrats over here? Because we need this thing to come together.
And see, that's the crazy part for me is, especially when it comes to city politics, there should be no partisan. There shouldn't be no Republican, Democrat, because they're there for people. You're there for everybody. And that's the one thing that blows my mind with some of these people too, because to me, it's not even about the politics anymore. It should be about policy. It shouldn't be about Democrat, Republican, none of that. And I don't care about the great switch, whatever, all of that. I don't care about none of that.
My grandfather died a Republican. My uncles are Republicans now.
Right.
At the end of the day, no, we're not switching. We're staying right here because they believe in the conservative policies, the mindset. They have always been conservative. Black people are more conservative than anybody in the world. The only reason they're not being conservative, not Republican. Hold on now. Let me break this down real quick. Lauren Boebert, Donald Trump is not really a conservative or a Republican. So let's get that right before we go any further, because that man was for Bill Clinton. That man was for Barack Obama until he started that crap, right? He was president, he come in with the Southern strategy. But the bottom line that I'm saying is, I am not a Republican, and that's what people all, just because I talk to them, just because I deal with them. I am a conservative. If you give Black people the space to do what they want and how they want to do it, if we can live how we want to, we need to live. If you give us reparations and say, there, we gave you money, go do your thing. We can build a Black Wall Street. We can build a Redwood, Florida. We can build a Wilmington, North Carolina. Done it before under conservative type situation. We believe in family. We believe in God. We believe in all those principles that's out there, right? And if we could get ourselves together a little bit, go back to that, acting a fool, they will probably more votes.
What's crazy is because if people really look at it, especially in the Black community and how we were raised, maybe not 2010 babies or anybody being born now, but 70s and 80s, we were born in that family unit. We you went out, you had the community, grandma, auntie, uncle. You was getting a whooping before you even got home to get another one. That, you know what I'm saying? I'm good. No, your baby's a thug. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be honest. And I don't think people like hearing the honest to God truth. I'm sure my mom was the same way. No, that ain't my son, even though I'm on the the 5 o'clock news on my knees with police with, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, that ain't me. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to be honest with it, with ourselves, man. Like, because that's how we were raised. We were raised conservative. What, to me, that's why I laugh when people, oh, you are a Republican. No, I'm a conservative because I believe in family. To me, it's family first. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it should be about. And to me, you know, that's why I call myself an urban conservative, because of the simple fact of that family unit. To me, it doesn't matter if it's two women. It doesn't matter if it's two men. It doesn't matter if if you're trans, whatever, right? As long as you're not trying to indoctrinate your kids to think that that's okay before the age of 18, I'm okay with it. Otherwise, to me, it's all about family. And as long as you got a family unit, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and we gotta. And when it comes to
True.
our family unit, is screwed up. I mean, there's nothing we're gonna be able to do
No.
right now, right? But somewhere down the line, we have to step into this thing and see that we have to work on the true family unit
Right.
at the end of the day, you know. And I don't know if money is going to do it. I mean, you know, you was talking about reparations early on today, and you was talking about now the way I met Sir Major. I met through reparations. When I first heard of reparations, I was 13 years old. And I didn't understand what they was talking about. I know the Panthers was out there talking about reparations. And when I got into our little in Memphis, Tennessee, I, I got into the mini Black Panthers. Yeah, I had on, I had boots, I had all of that. I was down for the cause. And when it was talking about reparations, and then it fell off. Hear anything about reparations ever pretty much again? It was a mumbling amongst people, but no one else. So I never really looked into what reparation was until I got and started talking to Re-Up and Sir Major and all them guys and understanding. And then Terry,
Yep.
Troy, I forgot how you say his name. Yeah, Cruz. So I started dealing with Cruz on it, understanding what reparations, why we need reparations, why that what they did over in St. Paul, where you know they're basically giving people land to try to make up for the wrongs in it. Do I believe in reparations? I do. I think that there should be a better way that we go after it, number one, and a better way for us to get payment on those reparations. I do. Because my grandfather, um, my grandfather was one of those guys that did not get a dime. They was black men fought these wars. They came back to nothing but the same hateful people that was in their face when they left. When they signed up, said, I'm going to make a better life for my family, they were cheated out of wealth. Right? That that happened. I mean, nobody can say redlining. It happened. Segregation. It happened. My grandfather. The reason I'm a Packer fan. People always, why are you a Packer fan? Because I'm in Memphis, Tennessee. My grandfather was a woodsman. He had to go all the way to Wisconsin during the summer, leave his family to go make a living, and then come back in the wintertime. That's what my grandfather had to do. Do I think we deserve reparation? Yes, I do. Washington, coming to Washington for our check. Period, point blank. So when people talk about that and reparation this, and you got white people talking about you don't deserve this, you don't deserve that, have a seat, dude. People just have a seat.
You know, I tell people, why don't you look up your family's past, your family's history, and and see where you came from, and see where you started with. See where maybe and people start looking down their lineage, and I'm talking about white people too. They're gonna see that they were probably related to maybe rich people, slave owners, right? And I don't want nobody to be like, oh, well, that ain't got nothing to do with me. No, it does not have to do with you. But you got to realize that your family got rich off of my family, and yet when but didn't pay us. Didn't what is that severance? Didn't get severance. I'm saying too, that's where this week of even when we became freed and the 13th Amendment all came in there was still sharecropping, which made people indentured slaves.
Right here. Right here.
Right.
I was I'm a segregation. I was born in segregation. But of that.
Okay.
No fans above my grandmother and my grandfather promised. This is another thing. Let me show you another thing. If you ever go to Memphis, Tennessee, go behind that road, take a left off of Shepherd's Road onto Garnett Road. You go down 1.5 miles on your right-hand side. It was 4 acres that my grandfather was promised by the guy that lived across. Give you 2 acres. I'll give 2 acres. All you have to do is keep my hogs, my chickens, and my corn, and all that there stuff. That's what my grandfather did. All this time. When my grandmother died, the man still promised that he was going to do what he said he was going to do when my grandfather was 45 years old working his land for him. Never got that land. My grandfather died, and that man never gave him a piece of that land. And he died on the same land that white man was promising him. Like, I got receipts, brother. I don't say nothing. I don't put nothing out there unless I got a receipt on it. So I know what the white man has done. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Now, let's say he gave that land 2 acres of that land, and my grandfather willed it down to us. And right now, you see those pretty houses are sitting over there. Now, we would have sold that land for $150,000 million maybe, and everybody got a piece of that pie in the family, right?
Right.
I could have went and bought my own house, right? Things of that sort. So say you don't deserve that. Dr. King talked about the people who came over here, how they were getting land, going to learn how to farm. They was giving not even half of what these here people was getting. And the black farmers barely own their land. I mean, see, this is the reason, my friend, why they never want to talk about what happened back then to put black people in the crunch
that we're in right now. Right.
That's right. They don't want to talk about that. You got to grind it out. It's just when I got Walter. I got Walter in touch with Michelle Gross to teach Walter about police brutality.
Right.
Try to put something up here. I was trying to put something up here so he can go, wow, right? Eric LaSauer ain't never called me and asked me, what can I do? He's been in my church. I've been at many meetings with him. He ain't never did that. But they stomp on the very people. Never hear the Republicans as well as I do. They don't ever talk about the poor white people, right? What? Name a conversation that you've heard about poor white people. Name one.
None.
I'm just saying.
No, because it even makes me think of, our black legislators. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not even in tune with what's going on inside of our communities anymore because at the end of the day, I'm not puppets anymore.
Okay.
I want to move into 2024 being respectful and things like that. So their paid spokesperson.
Okay.
Um,
All right, we're gonna go with that.
That's
2024,
better.
we're gonna go with that.
So that's why we can't never get no change because they only listen to the people that they pay to sit there and give these grants, give these opportunities to so that they can keep the same narrative going. Oh, we listen to the Black community. Who did you talk to? And see, that's the one thing that I always want to get the answer to is when they say they talk to Black people, who are you talking to? Because it's the same names over and over again. Oh, we talked to Nakima. Well, oh, she doesn't live over well, she doesn't live in. I can see if you're out there talking about Brooklyn Park, but if you're talking about North Minneapolis, she doesn't live over there. So when they say they're talking to the Black community, talk to the people that actually live in the community and don't just work in the community. Because that's what they do. They work in the community. They don't live in that community. They work. They commute. They're commuters. They might at one point live there, but now they're commuters. It's just like Mr. Minneapolis, who should be really Mr. Maple Grove. John Mason. He calls himself Maple.
Mason lives in
Maple Grove. Yeah, it's all public. That's the one crazy thing that I laugh at these people because it's public information. Yeah, it's public information. And I busted him out because I was like, dude, why do you say you're Mr. Minneapolis, but you live in Maple Grove? He's like, well, how do you know that? I said, well, let me tell you how I know that, right? I'll tell you how I know that because there's things called a GIS system every home in the county, right? So that's why I knew when Nakima moved off of Lindale. I knew when Michelle Gross moved from over north, Mike Freeman, others that lived over north that don't live over there no more. All this information is so easily to find out, even with these knobs on their board, right? That's where you start to connect things of in the community organizations and the neighborhood organizations, and then you got to look at the boards because that's where you find the city council people, the BET members, the board estimation taxation members. That's where you find these people, and then you wonder why Corcoran neighborhood gets a lot of money, but yet Jordan neighborhood or Weber area associations don't get nothing. Or you look at 38th in Chicago. How that's just a rough estimate and a low estimate. We'll say 50 million going over there. Why is it looking so trashy?
Well, that's you've been over there when it was good times, right?
When it's good times. I grew up in that area.
Yes. There was times over right there where George Floyd times over there, correct?
Yeah. Lots of great times.
Thank you very much. I needed for you to say that because for people who have never been down there or just been down there when it was good times, the owners of those buildings, of those businesses, that area, downhill, and they didn't say anything until they start losing money. That's what happened. And now they want to sue the city for what they created. When you have people, when crack was going kind of heavy over there, they were standing in front of the store, brother, selling crack. This is when the police department was fully staffed. So let's make sure, because I know what people are going to say. Well, they didn't have enough. No. They had enough cops to send out.
We talk about when this was murder Minneapolis days.
Thank you. Thank you. Get enough cops to send out, right? And the businesses over there did nothing. They
Nothing.
said nothing. And
It's
38th
always
in
been like
Chicago.
that.
Say again?
It's always been like that, though. Honeybee,
Oh, yeah.
the
Look
murder
at that.
station.
Look at
You
that.
know what I'm saying? Right.
And that's what, and people who don't understand that. They don't realize that 38th in Chicago was you could walk down there.
Right.
No prayer or white. So
Right.
you should know you should be able to walk down that street.
Right.
They watch that area go downhill real quick. Right?
Right.
So for those who don't know and don't understand, 38th was you could go down there and shop, stop,
Even
whatever.
Lake Street.
Oh, look at
All
my
Lake
God.
Street. You used to be able to walk up and down all the way from St. Paul's side of Lake Street all the way to the lakes, St. Louis Park, and nobody messes with you. You can't get 4 blocks for somebody without somebody saying something to you nowadays.
Can you read the damn signs down there?
No, you really can't.
Can you? I don't, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, you can't read the signs down
there. No.
And what we talked about earlier tonight, people in and then placing people. That's one of the things that we need to dig into is how are these people living in certain places? St. Louis
the
Park.
hotels. Right.
See all of them in St. Louis? How they living in St. Louis Park?
It's going to be a weird St. Louis Park. I'm going to watch that first of all because of the new mayor.
The same thing.
I'm going to watch that because I can see a lot of BS going down with their police departments. Just for the simple fact of they're going to see that they got control.
Yep. Edina. Wait, watch.
Right.
Watch what happened. Watch what happens over in Edina. It'll be another one. I thought it was going to, you know what I thought it was going to be? I thought it was going to be between Crystal and I thought it was going to be Crystal was going to first to fall. That's what I thought for sure. I did not have St. Louis Park on my video. Right? Did you?
I didn't even know she was running. That shocked me when I seen that come across that a Somalian woman that run mayor. I was like,
exactly.
And for her age too. She's like third. I think she's like between 8 and young.
I did not see that. I swear
I
did not see that happen. I thought it was going to be St. Louis Park because I mean not St. Louis Park, but Crystal. That's what I thought for sure. It was going to be Crystal or New Hope, one or the other.
New Hope, right?
Right. Because there are a lot of
suburbs ain't gonna be the suburbs no more.
I'm waiting until a Hopkins go down, or like I say, Edina.
Right.
I'm looking at. It's gonna be a long time before they get Plymouth and Maple Grove. Right.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a long time before they get like a Elk River.
But that train, that light rail goes in. I think Maple Grove is going to be took over real quick.
You wait till it start going down to Burnsville, start going down south. Right. Oh, I forgot about that. Mm-hmm. Boy, it's gonna get good. It's gonna get good in Minnesota.
You know, what threatens me too is, and I'll leave off on this note, is if people don't, since I talked about the light rail, if people don't see what they're doing to a historic Black neighborhood.
Thank you.
And nobody, I don't see Vital talking about it. I don't see Ellison out here talking about it. They're literally trying to get rid of an historic Black neighborhood. And do you think Camo J is sounding the alarm? No, because
the mention on Lindale, right down the street from my church, yeah. You know, big, huge church that sits on 26 in Lindale, right there on the
Yeah.
corner. They got that. The Mexican has that church. They've got the church that's right down the street for them. A little smaller one. They
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, brother. Oh yeah. It's like I said, Minnesota, these Democrats have zero clue what they've created.
No.
Because let me tell you, the mindset of Islam is dominate,
Right.
take over. That's their mindset, right? Watch what happens. So they've got nobody to point the
Blame
finger
but
at.
themselves.
So that's why we got to get in front of this situation. And that's why I told Marcus, I need them getting off the bus. I need them getting up with a backpack. Because I can't just go up there and get in their face and go, you're lying to us. I can't go up there and scream at these Democrats without having complete proof. They know it's happening, right? But we got to show it, Chaz.
Show it. Right. I know.
You
and that's
understand
the
what I'm
most
saying?
crazy thing about it. Right. That's what's crazy, because even now I seen it before I came on. There was a video that I seen on Twitter in Arizona that there's a bunch of trucks that just went through the border and nobody stopped them. They didn't check them. And it's like, and I didn't see no community notes. And that's a big thing on Twitter, because that's where the fact checkers come out. And I'm waiting to see if I bookmarked that tweet to see if anybody community noted it. And nobody has yet, because anytime anything comes out about Gaza or Ukraine, I see community notes all the time on them videos. So the fact that video had been up for 3 hours, because they were saying it was last night that happened. So if that's really the case, what are we doing about it? Because we're not even taking care of our own.
That's right. Right there, what you just said. But here's the thing. We can't do this by ourselves.
No.
And it's going to make white people in the suburbs, like they usually do, getting mad because they're in their schools, they're in their driveway. Then maybe finally they'll go, well, I know the urban conservative and Rev was talking about this, 2 years ago, and we did nothing.
Right.
We got to do something now. That's what's going to happen, man. I can guarantee you that. And it's just like I'm saying, it's not like we're on here telling people vote for Republicans. We don't sit here and say vote for Democrats. Only thing I say is, in order for us to have a fair shot at what's going on in America, we need both parts to work to give us that shot.
We need bipartisan.
Partisan. Thank you very much. If not, then hand me a check for my reparations of whatever it's supposed to be, and I'll leave you all. You won't never. I'll be down there in South Carolina on a beach with a Corona, with a Hennessy chaser. Believe that.
Right.
That's where I will be. I will leave everybody alone. Give me enough money for me to retire. I won't bother you. But the problem is, if I don't bother you, then things are going to keep going the way they are, and we're going to get left out.
Right. And I know that it makes other people mad. And my intentions is never to make anybody mad. And that's why I say, like, for me, I'm going in 2024, the different outlook and trying to be more positive and stop trying to put facts out there and to put what is really happening and how we can fix it. Because the name calling, that's the one thing that pissed me off about Sir Major, because I never disrespected him. But for the fact that we're so comfortable calling each other bitch or boy and all the disrespectful things, how is anybody gonna want to work with that?
Let me slow you down there, because I dig here and hanging out, and you hang out. The same thing with Sir Major. I think the thing with Sir Major is when you put out his business, I think that is where things went downhill. I don't know if you two are going to be, hanging out with each other or anything of that sort. I would like to see, because I don't like to see two brothers going at it, especially two that I go in his spaces. I listen to some of the things
Right.
that happens and go on in the whole night. Same thing with you. You know how I am. Same
Right.
thing with you and Mr. Man. When you two was kind of, I made a phone call to him, dude. I need you to call this cat right now because
Right.
I hang with it. The same thing I think with you and Sir Major. I mean, I just don't like to see two black men go at it like that. I don't, because you're powerful. You're powerful in what you do, and Sir Major has done a few things for me, and he's done that. Just like I've asked you. So
Right.
it's like I got both of my people fighting, and I'm in between. One of those deals. You understand what I'm saying? So
No,
it's just
it, I, for me, I don't, I'm in this selfless. I'm not doing this to boost anything about me up, and when I see, because I'll tell you my information that I have on Buddy, it was sent to me at first. And then because of the whole BLM thing, and see, that's the part that bugged me about it, and why I even dug into it, is because when the misappropriations with BLM was happening, he was being included in there, and I couldn't even understand why. So then when I dug deeper in it, because from my understanding, he's from Ohio, but all of the BLM stuff is from Georgia. So I reached out to some people, about to call them activists, from Georgia. This isn't something that is new for him.
But
you
what
know
what I'm saying is that should have been just a phone call. Sir Major,
Right.
hey, and you two hash that out versus hashing it out over these here type of spaces. And like I said, if we go strictly hood with it, I as we would. I don't want man go at it and give these people reason to go. Well, see, these people can't go. They can't get along. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, I definitely agree. I definitely agree.
So
but
not that it's gonna happen, but
right,
to me, it would
right,
do my heart to even broker, something between just you and Sir Major. Whatever Sir Major has to get out about you, whatever you get out about Sir Major, get it out. And then let's find a way to work together, because both of y'all are important to me. Because if I need information, brother, I go straight, I go straight to you, right?
right,
To get that information. Right. Same thing with Sir Major. If I need information, if I need something outside of Minnesota sometime, and sometime inside of Minnesota, I go and ask him, he get it for me, and I can know that I'm hovering over it. So, like I said, at the end of the day,
a very good connection to have, since his uncle is the former Supreme Court Justice Alan Page.
Well, not only that, he got me in contact with Cedric, Mr. 300.
Fraser.
Yeah, he got me in contact with him, right? So, I don't have a dog in the fight, because like I said, both of y'all to me and I just don't need brother talking about you on this side and then you talking about him on that side. I would like to get it to where, like I said, if you ain't gonna leave, talk about each other. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I would like to broker something between you guys, get him on here, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. At least we can say at least I say I try. And if y'all can't get along, you understand what I mean? That's just my thing in it. You know what I mean? I don't go out of the way to get in people's business. But in this instance, I got you right here, and I'll be in his space probably tomorrow. And it just feels weird.
Oh, don't let it be. I don't want it. That's the one thing that I've always told people, because you know my fight in this is different than other people's fight, because my whole thing
right,
about this is for the community. I do this for the community. So when I see injustices and wrongs being done inside of our community and people aren't speaking up about it, people need to speak up about it. That's how we get change. And there's too many people looking the other way of injustices being done in our community, where we should be seeing reform and change. But because we have people that have ulterior motives and their own agendas, is why we don't get it. And
well,
that's why my own really reason, that's the only thing that my disagreement, the same thing with Tez, why I separated myself from Cortez Rice, because it's this, for me, him and Sir Major are the same scam artists to get overhead on the community. Because when you literally are taking donations in that you're saying are for a fight, but yet are going to, right.
I don't know what you know. I have not looked into anything on him. As far as I know, the dude ain't. I don't see him in jail. I don't know if he's got a lock.
No, he's on bail,
or anything of that sort. So what I'm
just
not,
like
what I'm saying is, just like if the shoe was on the other foot, when Sir Major's talking
right.
about you, I sit there and say, right, if he's not in jail, he ain't done this. If we haven't had that conversation, then there's nothing I can put out or say
Oh,
about
right.
it, right? And so at the end of the day, I would like to see you two hash this thing out. And if you can't hash it out, at least have a conversation and say, hey, bro, I'm going to leave you alone. I'm going to leave you alone. We're going to go out. We'll go out our separate ways. And then for me, I can sit there and go, okay, they gave it a shot. That's not going to happen. But like I said, if we speak in hood, I'm going to mess with you. And I'm gonna mess. I went straight hood there, and I'm gonna deal with Sir Major on a different light. But what we're not gonna do, I wouldn't let him bash you. I would have to say, Sir Major, here's the deal. As long as I'm in your room, let's not go there. Now, once I leave, there's nothing I can do. Right.
Right.
Same thing on
here. And like I said, because he has done some great things. I'm not going to sit there and say that, because everybody has a place in this. Everybody has a place in this, but our intentions should be about our community and not ourselves. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, on that. But I want to do one more thing before you leave. I wanted to try, because I don't know if you saw that Tucker Carlson post.
Yeah, I got tagged in it last night.
Okay, the one where he's telling, this is what if you read it right, you read it in a way of saying Tucker's telling white people that they could be done the same way as Derek Chauvin. Something that we have been telling people for, like I put a tweet out today. I said, have you listened to the NWA 1988 album? There's one song on there, right? There's one song on there that they have been, they told it back all the way back in 1998. I mean, 1988. I'm sorry.
Yep.
It was F the Police, correct?
Right.
They told that story that far back, and it has been that way from day one. So Tucker Carlson finally told the white people, you could be done like Derek Chauvin. And what was done to Derek Chauvin? They say that he was messed over by the system. The same system they loved, so hard. The same system. So now one of theirs gets smacked on the head versus 20, 30, 40, 50 black men who are either in prison or been shot by the police. Now the warning goes out, people going, wait a second, we could be next.
Right.
That was pretty funny to me.
No, and it was, and I know for me, people have, I get kind of sick of talking about, the whole George Floyd You know what I'm saying? For me, Chauvin is where he needs to be. Um, I don't believe he killed George Floyd. I'm
Exactly.
not gonna. What happened, and I answered it correctly. Where he needs to be
Yep.
because of John Pope, Zoya Code, and others that we have not seen.
Mando
That,
Castile.
right. There's so many. You know what I'm saying? And I hate that it had to be the system threw him to the wolves,
Yep.
but they throw our. I think about Marvin Haynes.
Thank you.
My brother, 19 years. You know what I'm
Thank
saying? I think
you.
about Mayan Burrell. I think about Robert Davis. I think about Lincoln Caldwell. I think about Timothy Magruder, Philip Vance. You know, a lot of brothers that are convicted and are innocent, but because our Supreme Court says innocence isn't enough to overturn a conviction, they're sitting for no reason. And we got to sit here and fight. And yet, all I see is people talking about Derek Chauvin. What about Philip Vance? What about Timothy Magruder? If you guys want people that shouldn't be in prison, wouldn't be there first.
You got a point. Mad at me because I to the fall of Minneapolis, and I kept saying
Right.
Minneapolis failed before George, Derek Chauvin, long before that.
Well,
But they think that that's when no, the jump out boy, Minneapolis fell when the jump out boys was jumping
right.
out on everybody,
The
right?
crack team.
The team, when they was jumping
Right.
out, tackling people, knocking people in the head, kicking people in the back.
Right.
So
And
when they sit there and say Minneapolis failed then, no.
right. I'll tell you this, that if people really want to know about Minneapolis, look up the lawsuits. Look up the transcripts of the Sweezy lawsuit. Look up the Lisa Clemens lawsuit. Look up I think it's the Kellys. They the, there was a married couple and they felt like they were discriminated against because they were married, and I want to say it was the Kellys, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was somebody else.
Well, I'll
But
ask them because they're good friends of mine.
oh yeah, no, and I need to reach out to them because
Yeah,
I asked, I wanted to have a conversation with because I listened to Abel and Baker
yeah.
at least once. You know what I'm saying? And I love their view. And there's just things that I want to ask from a resident and somebody that's from Minneapolis, uh, because there's things that I feel like, especially Sarah Arella, who's a former officer, said something that Minneapolis police officers knew better, but didn't do anything. And that's where I want to ask them, what do they feel like they could do differently if they feel like there's a lot of things that were going wrong inside of our system? Because those three that I just named have said that the move that happened on George Floyd was trained. These are MPD officers, ex-officers that said that move was trained. Now, I don't want to debate it. I don't want to do. I don't care about any of that. My point is that these are moves that the MPD has done for years. And if people look at the transcripts, and especially I'm going to say one name, Dwight Smith, I think I said his name right, YMCA, downtown 2012, 2013, that same move was done. That was supposed to be written out back then. And
right.
it's in transcripts.
Yep.
So I literally feel like they threw Chauvin under the bus because they knew they could to protect the system. And
Yeah.
that's what the system does, is to protect itself.
I've
That's what I
I've
want
said that.
people to understand.
But here's the funny part about this whole thing. I don't hear Lisa Collins talking about the system.
No,
The
they're not
system
going to.
got Derek Chauvin where he's at. The very system that has railroaded many of black men got Derek Chauvin where he's at. I don't hear her writing a book about the system, talking about how bad the system is. Do that.
Because you do Derek Chauvin, you can blame it on the Democrats. And what does that get you? That gets you dollars. If it don't make sense, it don't make dollars.
Got a point. Got a point. Any last words, my brother?
I don't none. I appreciate coming on here. I love our conversations. And I just want people to really have a happy new year and to know that 2024 it's gonna be different, man. It's gonna be different. We need people to wake up, and I mean by wake up is to read, inform yourself, educate yourselves, deprogram and reprogram. Mission vision, baby.
Hey, like I said, that young brother that you got, when he get a chance, we all three got to get together.
Yes, we definitely will. After the new year, we'll definitely set that up.
Okay, set it up and let me know, right?
I will. I will.
And then we'll make that happen. Hey, again, my friend, I appreciate you for being here. I like you because you can bring a different perspective than I can a lot of times when I questions. When I know the answer to them, I like you basically go ahead and put it out there, because a lot of times when I talk to these people, they're like, I've heard this, but you bring a different version of it. And I appreciate that. I appreciate for you.
Well, if people don't believe Rev, there is a video out right now on Facebook of Scooter Braun, who was praying in a church parking lot and had the police called on him by a white woman. That happened in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. So people really, it's crazy to be black and you're not allowed to do anything, because even praying is a crime.
I video. I know. What's her name was about to call the troops, and they was about to descend on that church. They was about to put a hurt on that church. I saw the video. I didn't say anything. I didn't bring it. I didn't bring it here. But I'm thank you very much for bringing that up. That a black man was praying in a church, and a white woman basically called the police. He wasn't doing nothing, praying.
Nope.
A white woman called the police on him, and the police escorted him off the premise. That happened in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Let's make sure that we understand that if y'all think that people don't look at us in a certain way,
right?
That's all I got to say.
All right, man, we're gonna wrap it
up tonight. I definitely appreciate everybody who's able to hang out with us. I know we always do this. Every time I can sit here and talk to this dude. We could have been here for another 2 hours. Seriously, just chop up on certain things that's going on and certain things that's happening. But I'm not going to see you anymore until the new year. So I'm going to say this here. I hope each and every one of you have an awesome, awesome new year. And whatever you had back there in 23, I ask you to pray yourself out of it so 24 could be brand new. Jesus said to him, let's get in the boat and go to the other side. When they got in the boat and started going, a wind started going. Water started going into the boat. And instead of these men having faith that they were going to get through this, because he was in the boat, they woke him up. What I'm telling you right now is he's awake already. All you have to do is take him into your 24. Leave the past behind. Leave 23 there. If you done went through some trouble in 23, leave it. If they stabbed you in the back in 24 and 23, leave it. If they talked about you, put you down, leave it. 24 is new. You can start everything brand new. God is just that good, people. If you decide to turn yourself, your life, your heart, your mind, your soul over to him, your 23 will be in the past, and you don't have to bring it in the 24. So I'm saying this to you. Happy New Year's to each and every one of you. Know that God is going to be in your way and on your path. The Bible says, if God is for us, who can be against us? Nobody and nothing. He's that powerful. He's that strong. Lean on him like you're leaning on stuff that you shouldn't be messing with. So I pray for each and every one that we walk into 24 happy, bright, a sound mind, and knowing that when things start going downhill, all you have to do is have faith in him, and he will hear you. I promise you that. I know that for a fact. So I'm going to say this here to you. In 24, I need you to go out and smile at somebody. So somebody smile back at you. Happy New Year, fam. I thank you, each and every one of you, for what we was able to do in 23. 24 is going to be a new year. We're going to reinvent ourselves, and we're going to see how we can come out and still do the things that we've been doing. We did not, our couple who was with our Chip left. We were not able to have the right number of board members to be able to keep Shepherd Works open. So there is checks that will be coming back. Matter of fact, I put them in the mail. There's checks that's going to be coming back from some people who have Shepherd Works on their on the letterhead. I cannot cash those checks. I cannot cash those checks because we don't have a book to make up our Shepherd's Works. So therefore, if I was to cash those checks, I would be in trouble. So I'm sending that money back to you. We will come back stronger than we were this year in a different way and in a different form. But as for now, going into 24, because we don't have a board, we cannot continue with Shepherd's. We are taking everything down as Shepherd Works. We want to be compliant with the government here in Minnesota and the things that we're supposed to be doing and how it's supposed to be done. Right? But we will be back. Trust me, we will find a way to keep healthy, even though they're down in the dirt, even though they're going to be probably still stuck in 23, and we're going to be in 24, and we're going to have to drag them over here to 24. Oh, I'm not done, people. I'm not done. Not after what we did in 23. Not after the smiles and the cries and the tears from moms and dads. I can't let people not enjoy life because they think that the storms is rocking their boat, and there's no one there to settle that boat for them. Okay? So hang with me, people. Seriously, stick with me. We're doing some things. We're doing some serious things over here. And we're going to keep doing some serious things. All right? And I appreciate you. I thank you. Y'all have a good night. Don't do that. Don't be like me when I was back days when, New Year's roll around and they was basically carrying. I need my warriors. Happy New Year's. Y'all have a good night.
So, y'all just heard from Rev Tim Christopher. And I want people to really take in this conversation that happened between me and Rev Tim Christopher, because there was a lot of things that were said. And I want to clarify, like I said last night, is that Chauvin is where he is supposed to be. The problem is that the system isn't being held accountable. That's the problem. Chauvin's being held accountable. But see, the system allowed him to do that for years, and they covered it up. And that's why he's sitting where he's sitting. So I don't feel bad for Derek Chauvin, not one bit. And with that being said, I will be doing my end of year special tomorrow morning. So tune into that. Win or fail, freedom or jail, heaven or hell. Wish me well. Y'all have a great one.
Every day, fighting for my life. Every day, fighting for my life. Fighting for my life. Fighting for my bread. Grew from the seed you thought was rot. I think not. Fire bred desire to rise above denial. To rise from former ashes to face new trials. trial or triumph.